So I got it in the all-wheel drive mode. Woo! Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's we're going to be looking at the all-new GMC Terrain. Before getting into this video though, a huge shout out and thank you to the National GMC here in American Fork, Utah for giving me some time with this terrain. I'm going to include a link to their inventory in the description down below so you can check out what they have currently. If you need any help whatsoever, just ask for David. And then I do want to mention I am also going to be showing some quick clips of a Denali Terrain as well, so you guys can see what the fully loaded package gives you. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. Under the hood, we have a turbocharged 1.5 liter four-cylinder that goes through a 9-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 25 around town and then 28 on the highway, with power outputs being 175 horsepower and then 203 pound-feet of torque. Before we go over the front end of the Terrain, I do want to mention if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. Now the Terrain actually has a pretty muscular hood. You guys can see we've got distinctive body lines, and then notice it's raised on either side, and I think it looks pretty cool. And then popping down below, you guys can see we've got the C-shaped daytime running lights with the LED headlamps. The whole grille is blacked out, which looks really cool. Got the GMC logo front and center, and then the trim at the bottom is blacked out, and I love this sand color. Sorry about my shadow, but anyways, when you tie it all in together, it definitely, has a cool look. Come around the side here, our tire and wheel setup is 235/50/19 in the front and over in the rear as well. Notice how the wheels are all blacked out, definitely a cool aesthetic. And then you'll notice with the side profile here, we've got a bunch more blacked out elements. So like the fender flares, the Terrain logo, the trim around the windows, and then the rails there at the top. And again, I feel like it contrasts nicely. And I do like that sharp body line that goes across. Here's our key fob. We've got our unlock function, our lock function, remote start, and then the opening for the hatch. Just press that and it'll pop right open. When it comes to rear cargo room, the Terrain is actually pretty dang solid, as you can see. And then you can throw down the second row to add even more room. We've got even more storage space underneath the loading floor as well. When you're done with the rear, just press that and that will lower back down the rear hatch. Now we've got these C-shaped taillights here in the rear, and then notice with our badging here in the back, it's blacked out except for the GMC logo. And then we do have parking sensors there at the bottom, and as for the rest of the rear, I think stylistically it looks pretty cool. So this is another SLE, and then this is the Denali, so you guys can see the differences with the front ends of both of the packages. And then again, SLE versus Denali with the wheel design. Now I know you guys haven't seen the SLE interior yet, but here's the Denali interior quickly. So you got the leather seats and then also like leather on the dash and all that. So just a little bit more upscale. Now stay tuned for the SLE pricing, but you can see the Denali, you got to pay to play, $43,700. Now with the door panel here, I really like this trim piece there. It's very interesting. And then we do have nice padding here. You're going to rest your arm, and then we've got a bunch of storage space here on the rest of the door panel. Now with the SLE, we do have cloth seats, so you can see the contrasted stitching and then the inserts there in the center. Altogether, it looks pretty good. Vents here in the center, and then you can see with the USBs down below, and then we have a power outlet down below that. And then notice this seat has like this setup on it, and then the driver's seat's slightly different. Not sure what that's about. We of course have a cup holder armrest here in the back end too. Legroom is pretty solid here in the back. Headroom is also pretty solid. The front door panel is pretty much identical to the rear with like all of the little features, but notice we do have all of our window controls. The front one is automated mirror adjustments, and then you got your door lock and unlock. That is for the hatch, and then tons of storage space. And then there's a quick look at the mirror. So the front seats are cloth just like the rear seats. You got that same like insert with the stitching that goes down, as you can see. And then notice the driver's seat is power adjustable. And then we got some pretty normal stuff like a hood latch release. That's for the parking brake, and then our light control. This steering wheel is pretty interesting because it's pretty basic when it comes to material use, but they make it look like it has perforated leather here on the side when it doesn't. Anyways, radio controls down the back, controls for center stack, voice command controls, cruise control as well, and then of course turn signal stock, windshield wiper stock. The center gauge cluster is mostly analog. We do have the screen here in the center, which we can use to scroll through different menus. So for like, music, you got like general information on the vehicle itself, pretty standard stuff. Now we do have a backup camera with trajectory lines that turn with the steering wheel. Resolution solid, and you can turn off the trajectory lines if you want. With the rest of the infotainment system, response time is fantastic. It does have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Notice we have a shortcut bar down here, and then we also have like shortcut buttons down below, and then analog controls for the volume and for the station, which is very important. We actually have some nice stitching and padding here on the dash, and then again, more of that trim. Then I do like the look of the vent, and I guess we have like a random little storage cubby. Dual zone climate controls here in the SLE, and then this is our whole gear select system, so it's a bunch of pull tabs and buttons and all that fun stuff. And then we do have our charging area down below, some USBs, auxiliary, and 12 volt. We of course have some cup holders right here, heated seat controls, and just like some GM products, you can do the whole seat or just part of the seat if you want. Hill descent control, and then your lane departure, and then this is actually our drive mode select dial. The drive mode will appear here in the center, so we can pop into all-wheel drive mode, and then we can also pop into off-road mode. Nice padding here in the center console, and also decent storage space, more USBs inside. Speaking of storage, there's your glove box. We've got a pretty normal sunglass holder here at the top, and then we got controls for our panoramic sunroof. This is actually the window sticker for this white Terrain because that one doesn't have pricing on it right now. But anyways, this one stickers for $35,665. Now, like I said, this one is a 2023. The window sticker is just blank right now. Anyways, this one has a sunroof, whereas the white one does not. And so this one's probably a little bit more expensive than that price that I just showed you guys. Let's drive it. Okay, let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's your visibility over the hood, both of the mirrors, and throughout the rest of the rear. And let's set off. Okay, so we are setting off here in the Terrain. And this is probably gonna be the only Terrain review I do for the 2023 model year. Famous last words, because I always like to see all the different packages on vehicles. But anyways, first starting off, this engine is actually pretty dang torquey, which is good, and handles pretty well. Now this is the same vehicle as the Equinox from Chevy, just with the GMC looks and all that. Yeah, I like how this drives so far. Seat comfort's also pretty good with these cloth seats. I'm sure some people watching this probably would have preferred that I reviewed that Denali, but you know what? When the powertrain's the same and everything, and the interior's just a little bit different, what's the point? Yeah, that really torquey. I do like how this powertrain performs. Okay, so I got it in the all-wheel drive mode. Woo! Yeah, this thing puts down the power, that's for sure. Wow. Let's see if we can go into the two-wheel drive mode on the fly. Yeah, you can. You can do it on the fly. That's pretty sweet. So, yeah, acceleration's solid. I wouldn't call it a rocket ship by any means, but it gets up and moves. It's crazy to me, like, how quick economy cars are nowadays. Like, it's it's pretty interesting. So, summing things up here with the Terrain, I love this new sand color. I think this thing looks really cool with the SLE and the sand color. Interior on this is pretty nice. That Denali definitely nicer interior, but I mean, that's what you get when you pay extra money, right? But I do like this. Like, it's got everything you need. Sunroof, heated seats. Like, it's got all the nice luxury features, but it doesn't have the Denali price. And then when it comes to driving, yeah, I like this little turbo 4-cylinder. I think that it performs adequately for this type of vehicle, and I just don't think that buyers in this segment really care as much about the engine. They just care more about, like, what's the fuel economy, which fuel economy if this is good, and how can it get me up to speed on the highway. And yeah, this can do that. So overall, I think it's really solid, and there's the new Terrain. That's gonna sum things up with our video on this Terrain. Again, a huge shout out and thank you to the National GMC here in American Fork, Utah for giving me some time with this Terrain. Check out the info in the description down below. As for Dave, if you need any help, I'll see you.